Anybody who says money can't buy happiness doesn't fucking have any.
Yeah, I should put firefighter in my LinkedIn as well. Volunteer firefighter for my own life problems and business.
No, I grew up pretty poor. When I was a kid, we lived in a trailer. And, my parents divorced early when I was 2 years old.
Okay, Tyler, my friend, Tyler Pierce. Tyler Panglosian Pierce. That's your full name, right?
It is now. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, man, welcome back to the unofficial podcast. Round 2, guest 1 and guest 2, actually. So appreciate you having another chat with me, man. How's your week been so far?
Been pretty good. Busy, as always.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Insanely busy. It's a lot of things right now are, it's so funny. I saw this post the other day where it's something about most of us get so comfortable in the uncomfortable that we settle for less than our, truest desires or whatever the post was about. And I was thinking about it though recently because the last few weeks things have been going very well.
Good.
And it's unsettling. I feel like I've become so used to things going relatively badly for quite a long time. And I've heard success is an uphill battle. Success feels like you're failing 90% of the time, all that kind of stuff. But the last week or two have been like eerily good. Things keep kind of working out. And I'm like, all right. I'm almost expecting the ball to drop, but I don't want to think that way. I want to be positive and be excited and grateful, and I am. That's just, I don't want to get too excited.
I know what you mean, and I think that if you ascribe to that abundance theory and manifestation and all of those things, it's kind of embracing that as opposed to bracing for the bad things to come back. It's a skill. I've been working on it too. Things go great for a while. You're like, I wonder when the other shoe's going to drop.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too because it makes
you
realize.
It's like an entrepreneurial thing, I think too. Like you're just expecting problems because you should expect problems because that's just the way that it goes.
Yeah, I should put firefighter in my LinkedIn as well. Volunteer firefighter for my own life problems and business.
Right, not volunteer.
Yeah. So anyways, man, I wanted to jump into a little bit more of your story because we didn't really cover it too much last time. I'd love to just dive in, and if you want to take the first, however long you want, 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. And just share your background a bit so everyone kind of knows where you came from, where you're going, why you started a company, how you became an entrepreneur, exactly the hospital and the address which you were born. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. I guess if you want to go back that far, we can. I was born in Denver, Colorado. I'm a Colorado native. I've been in Colorado my whole life except for a short stint in Dallas. We can touch on that. I'll try to keep it quick to, grew
Just
up.
shout randomly a few times and then it'll keep the algorithm going.
Yeah, seriously. No, I grew up pretty poor. When I was a kid, we lived in a trailer, and my parents divorced early when I was 2 years old. I remember picking up government food, waiting in line and going to the warehouses downtown with my mom to pick up government food. She was a single mother with me for a long time, and that kind of stuff. And, putting food stamps and putting clothes on layaway that, at Walmart and Target that she paid off over 6 months a year. So pretty humble beginnings as a kid, which I'm thankful for now. I think it's grounded me and given me some good context and character over time. So, I guess notable things. I guess I went to Columbine High School in Littleton. I was a senior in 99 during the shootings, which is kind of a unique background story for most people. And so that definitely changed my view of the world and how I approach certain things, different aspects of my life. Helped me grow up pretty quickly. Went to CU Boulder, University of Colorado in Boulder, just a few months after that, and started my college experience. So that was an interesting thing. Mostly paid for my education and working through college and all of that stuff. And got out of college, got a CU, and went to work for a capital markets firm in Dallas that I had lined up through a friend of mine that I met networking. We always talk about networking.
It's all about who you know.
Yeah, a friend's dad in Dallas knew a capital markets guy who ran a capital markets shop, and went down there and did some investment banking for 18 months as an analyst and worked way too much, 80 hours a week, that kind of a thing. Decided that I didn't want to be in Dallas, especially during the summers. And it was a change. So I came back to Colorado and got into commercial real estate and did that for a couple of years. That was a bad time to be in commercial real estate with the economy changing. And
which year was that?
I came back in 2005, but I went into commercial real estate then into the beginning of the recession,
Perfect.
which was yeah, exactly perfect timing for that. And basically, right before I got my portfolio going, doing that as a broker, I mean, it's eat what you kill, right? And I was young, and it's hard when you're young and just getting started in CRE, especially, whatever, it's competitive. And so I was like, okay, I need to do something that's gonna pay the bills consistently, not just commission, and got into banking and actually moved to Aspen, Colorado, which I'm just outside of Aspen now, in '07, and started working for US Bank, doing commercial real estate lending. And I did that for a long time. I worked for US Bank for 7 years and then Wells Fargo for six, doing resort lending, commercial real estate stuff. So finance background, transitioned into marketing as a passion play later on. I'm a big hunter, outdoorsman, mountaineer, all of those things, on the recreation side, and an owner of a marketing firm that's based out of Carbondale, which is just outside of Aspen. Really well known, 100 employees, services some of the biggest names in the outdoor industry and hunting industry. Approached me and just said, "Hey, I've heard your name several times from other people. You're the guy." I was volunteering for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and teaching hunter education, and been in a handful of magazine articles and stuff like that on the hunting and outdoor side. And yeah, he approached me and said, we've got a handful of these really recognizable brands in the outdoor space that we need an authentic person on our team in order to relate to their clientele and their customer base. And we can teach you the marketing side, but we can't teach somebody how to be real in that space and have the knowledge that you do. Is this something that you'd be interested in? And I said, well, how much does it pay? And it was like a quarter of what I was making as a banker, high-end banker in Aspen. But I had saved some money and whatever. There's upside potential in that too. And I just said, okay, I'm ready for a change. And so I did that for a few years, and it was great. I met a lot of really cool people, worked for some really iconic brands. I worked for Sitka, which is the Patagonia of hunting, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
They're owned by Gore, who makes Gore-Tex fabrics.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I did a
I
bunch of
have
stuff
some
for,
Gore-Tex boots still from the military.
yeah, exactly. So they do all kinds of things, but a couple dozen different brands that are high-end brands like Yeti and premium ammunition and Federal Premium and a bunch of the Vista brands. It doesn't matter about all of that, but really cool exposure to some really high-end, like iconic brands that are well known and established. So that was a neat experience.
Yeah. Was it through that phase of your life and working with them? Is that how you met Cameron Haynes and those kind of guys?
Yep, that's how I met Cam. So I was doing the PR for the public relations for a supplement company actually called Mountain Ops, based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And Cameron Haynes had um, a sponsorship deal through them, and he was using their supplements. And so I ended up meeting Cam through there, and we shot together at Total Archery Challenge. I think it was in 2017 at Snowbird. And so I spent the day with him, and we had lunch, whatever, all that stuff. And then later down the road, I ended up doing the PR work, some PR work for Under Armour also. And so that was right around the time when Cameron Haynes left to go to Origin. I think he's to Sitka now, which I tried to get him there for several years and didn't work. Um, Now he's there, but
You planted
yeah,
the seeds.
yeah, 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 exactly.
You should
So
get some residuals.
yeah, so Cam peeled off. I can't remember what year that was, but I was working for Under Armour, and I wrote a real nice, farewell post for him, through Under Armour's socials and all of that. And I don't know, whatever. That's how I met Cam. And it's funny because the supplement now I own a supplement company, and so working and doing the marketing and PR for a supplement brand in Mountain Ops was helpful exposure to kind of how things work and branding and all of that. So yeah, so that's where I am now. I guess I'll speed up to now, and part of my past too is a natural bodybuilder. So for 12 years I competed in bodybuilding naturally, no steroids or anabolics or anything like that. I mean, supplements are legal, creatine and stuff like that, but none of the crazy stuff.
No, no unmarked bottles from Eastern Europe.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's all tested and they, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't even do TRT or anything like that. It's just, the above board stuff. Um, But yeah, a couple years ago, I started Panglossian, which is a supplement company specifically for students to try to get kids, I say, young adults off of Adderall, Ritalin, all the pharmaceuticals, and also to give them a natural alternative, sugar-free alternative, all natural alternative to these, ubiquitous convenience store style energy drinks like your Red Bulls and your Monsters. And they're just not good for people. And we have a healthy, an actual supplement, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, you know, created by neuroscientists that actually helps you and is healthy, and you can use it long term with no side effects. So nootropics and things like that in the ingredients. So that's what I'm doing now.
Cool, man. I love the natural, like it would sound like a completely random transition if you went from start to finish, but seeing the natural, flow of things over time and how just one thing leads to another and one open door leads to another. That's why I tell people all the time, like, you don't know where you're going to be in 5, 10 years. Even myself, I had these big dreams and I had every day planned out and I know exactly how I want to live 20 years from now. Now I'm just like, I don't know what tomorrow holds. Like, I could move to Mexico tomorrow for all I know. And you realize the further down this journey that you progress, right? The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. I think that applies to a lot of things.
100%.
And especially when you're on that success journey, there comes a point where you almost have to let go of expectations and just almost ride the wave. And they say, what do they say? Success is when preparedness and opportunity meet. So be prepared, right? Do all the behind the scenes, do the training montage of getting prepared, right? The Jackie Chan training montage.
Sure.
And then when opportunity comes, when the door opens, go. And I've seen time and time again, I used to do a lot of network marketing stuff, kind of direct sales, where I was essentially a recruiter for a while, and I would take people through an education process be like a month-long process where I sit down with them for like 6 meetings, and I just saw time and time and time and time again people that would tell me in the first meeting, I think God brought you in my life. I'm in such a season where I'm ready for all the work. I'm in a season. God brought you. All these open-armed, phrases and words. And by the time they get to the end of the process, for one reason or another, I just think that, God's calling me in a different direction. They always use God as an excuse. And I'm like, listen, I'm a believer, but your God sounds very confusing. And my Bible says God's not the author of confusion. So figure out what kind of God you serve, because I think you're letting your fear and your emotions get in the way, my friend. And they would just always say the opposite of what they told me in the beginning. And it became an emotional thing. And I just feel, at first it was, I'm so certain. And then by the end it's, I feel. And I'm like, oh, okay, so did you actually really want opportunity? Were you prepared to walk through a door that would lead to the results you said you wanted? Or is the hard work and the realistic now approach to achieving those goals, is that freaking you out a little bit and maybe you prefer your comfort? So,
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I mean, it's a couple of things come to mind there. The Michael Jordan quote of, the harder you work, the luckier you get. I think that's the right mindset too. I think that, and then the other one was David Goggins, and that might be cliche by now, but he's basically just says, I'm always ready, so I don't have to get ready. And that's more toward, and he had a really hard life. I don't know if you read his books, but he's an incredible person. Yeah. Whatever you think about Goggins, I think he's
Who gonna carry the boats?
He's a specimen, man. He's awesome. Anyway, but he's speaking to it more in terms of being prepared for bad things, right? Like your mom dying or something happening to you. But I think it works going the other direction too. It's, mentally be prepared for blessings, if you want to call them that, or the abundance or whatever is coming your way, to embrace the positive things that are coming too and recognize opportunities when they pop up. But I think for you, especially as like a connector networking guy, that's when you said earlier about moving to Mexico, I was like, you might, it just depends who you meet and what happens. And you're talking to so many different people in different industries and doing different things, it's different unusual things that you're not even expecting are going to pop up for you.
Yeah. I've become very open, which I think is a cool place to be, because you can't do that at all times in your life, right? You got a couple kids, and so you can't necessarily just leave and go anywhere, do anything, because you have responsibility. And so I think there's a level of intrigue and like excitement, and for me at least, being in this space where I don't have that responsibility currently. I would like it eventually. You got a couple years on me too, so that's fair.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm a single dad too, so it's more onerous.
and for the audience out there, where can all the ladies find you? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah,
I'll tag your Instagram.
yeah.
Wink,
I didn't
wink.
mean it like that, but it's more effort when you have two kids by yourself. I'll tell you that.
I'm virtually trying to wingman you right now.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I need all the help I can get, Josh.
Yeah, just drinking your bottle of wine. I'm kidding. I know it's Pellegrino.
Yeah, I don't drink, but
I know. You know, it's funny actually.
I'm a hardcore Pellegrino addict.
Yeah. There was a guy one time actually. We were doing some kind of, I think it was actually when I was doing the recruiting stuff, and he was going through my process. And every meeting, he'd just have this big glass bottle, this unmarked glass bottle, and he'd be swicking it. Yeah, I didn't, because that I can tell that's a Pellegrino bottle, but I don't know what he was drinking. And I was like, second or third meeting, I was like, hey man, you sound coherent, but are you like getting absolutely smashed right now? What's going on?
That's funny.
He's like, no, it's sparkling water. I was like, oh. Like, well, just so you know, for future meetings it doesn't look like it. It looks like you're absolutely pounding a bottle of Pinot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, tell me about that though, because you were into natural bodybuilding. You obviously care about health and fitness.
Yep.
You've worked in an athletic space. You now are currently in the supplement space, and you focus on healthy alternatives to stuff like this, right? Energy drinks and I should say stuff like this, the Zins and the. By the way, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know.
I'll do this for a plug. This is what you want.
Okay, hold on. You know what?
You have some, I know. I said
just, just for you. Here, look.
Thank you.
Product demonstration, because I have some water here. I was actually just thinking about this. As I finish my question, I will ASMR. Hold on, I can't remember.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate the
This
plug.
This is the mixed berry. Is that what it's called? Mixed berry flavor.
Yeah, that one's my favorite. I like the mixed berry.
Put it in the camera so everybody can see. There you go. Not a fake demo, a real product.
We're out there.
There it is, pre-mixed into my metal #blender bottle, code Josh10. I'm kidding, I don't have the sponsorship.
I'll tell you what. First 25 people that replied Josh in the comments on whatever social platform this is, I'll send them a box for free. 30 packets. A whole box.
I'm clipping just this part then.
Okay, do it. We'll send it to them.
I love that. So with all that said, I'm for real going to drink this. It is actually a very good product. I
had one this morning.
I just have all this stuff around me. Why? Actually, I forgot my question. Hold on.
We're talking about kids first.
We're talking about kids, vitamins, supplements,
natural stuff.
I can cut this if I want.
Natural bodybuilding. That's where we were going.
Anyway, it was all leading to the ultimate question of why did you want to get into the supplement space? Being it's not highly regulated. It's actually very unregulated, but it's also very annoying, right? Whether it's, I know you've talked about getting ingredients overseas, and so it's a very difficult space, I would say, with a lot of noise and competition. What possessed you, maybe I should say, to want to take a serious jab in this space and really make some waves?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, supplements generally as an industry, if you want to generalize that and not get granular about different types of supplements, it's a very competitive space. It's so busy. I mean, it just is. And and I think a lot of that comes from, we talked about this a little bit last time, but we can, touch on it here too. A lot of that comes from the low barriers to entry. There are a lot of these third-party manufacturers that will white label an existing supplement that they have for you. All you need to do is get a different design and put up an MOQ, a minimum order quantity that they require to run your stick packs or whatever. And they'll even say, hey, we have these 15 different supplements that we'll white label for you. Which one do you want? And you pick it and try to market it. And I think if the supplements are good and they vet their ingredients and like all of that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just people trying to make money, a side hustle. But that's not what we did. We have a proprietary ingredient formula stack. So we worked with a neuroscientist to come up with that, and it's 15 different ingredients, and you can't get it anywhere else. Like you can't white label a Study Max or Panglossian formulas. So I'll just lead with that. And we just really wanted it to be all encompassing for students. The biggest reason I did it for students and came up with a supplement, I've been using supplements for a long time and know for me, what works, what doesn't. I've tried a ton of stuff, being in fitness for a long time. Yeah, right.
There's my stack.
Exactly. Yeah, seriously. So yeah, I read a stat, and I mentioned it last time, but I'll mention it here, that 50% of four-year college students, by the time their sophomore year is over, will have been offered a pharmaceutical, whether they have a prescription for it or not, like a Ritalin or an Adderall. And then by the time they graduate a four-year school, this is the US anyways, by the time they graduate, 50% will have tried it, whether they have a script for it or not. And they got it on the gray market, if you want to call it that. Worldwide, that's 260 million college students, and in the US, full-time four-year college students, about 12 million. Um, it's a lot of kids, and it kind of just didn't sit well with me. And I was thinking, well, there are other alternatives like the nootropics that are coming out, all the white papers on that, tempering caffeine, with the ADHD stuff, and living a clean lifestyle plus supplementing with something like Study Max is and adjusting your lifestyle for ADHD if you truly have it and have been diagnosed, right? Like you really, like it's really you, not just these people who are like, I have ADHD, give me some Adderalls because I have finals coming up. Like that's what I want,
Right.
not that program. Um, so I just wanted something to help the younger adults coming into college because that's kind of where they also start that cycle of using pharmaceuticals in their life. They're coming out of high school and they don't really have that yet, a lot of them, and college is their first exposure to that. And
Sure.
if we can really reduce that rate, it cuts down on that entry period and entry number of people who are getting into pharmaceuticals. And I think that would be more healthy for our society in general.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have a bold mission, a valiant mission.
Yeah,
I
and the
remember when I
energy
was.
drinks are bad too, man. The sugars, the dyes, the artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, like we don't have any of that shit in our products. Excuse me, we don't have any of that. It's and
Maybe
no
I'll put a
sugar
Daffy Duck
added.
sound on it.
It's just not good for you. It's not healthy.
Yeah, even as a fiend for energy drinks, and sometimes I take these nicotine, not too often. I would say a couple times a week. If I really need some focus, I sometimes will take those nicotine pouches. And even for someone like me who does these things,
Yep.
I look at some of these drinks and some of the, like, oh my good lord, the
Oh yeah.
ingredients, and especially some of the Monsters and Red Bull, the ones that are like, I don't know, 50, 60 grams of sugar, and it's like 250 calories. And I'm like, I remember one time I drank one because I was just curious. It was a cafe mocha something or other Monster, and I looked at the ingredients and I looked at the calories, and I was like, and I was starting a workout. I was like, let me just try it. It's not that I necessarily felt so much more energy because same amount of caffeine as the other ones for the most part, but I was like genuinely concerned about myself. I'm like, am I going to explode? Is my heart going to blow
Yeah.
up? And people smash like 2, 3 of those a day, the bad ones, never mind the sugar-free ones.
Sure.
So
Yep.
the one thing I was going to mention before, by the way, I came back to me. Um, I was talking about your natural bodybuilding, your desire to be in the health supplement space. Not desire. You are in the health supplement space.
Yep.
I'm curious, actually. You don't drink. You didn't take steroids when you worked out. You don't seem like a very into my vices kind of guy, at least not with substances. Everybody has their vices of sorts. But how difficult was it for you, and how difficult did you see maybe it was in that community when you were in bodybuilding, when you were in that space for substances to kind of take over? Because not drinking, not succumbing to those things, I can imagine is difficult, at least at a time in your life. It was difficult to make those decisions and not be part of that party scene or not be part of the whatever other guy is doing in the bodybuilding space.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a blessing when I was younger because, I started my first competition when I was 17. So going
Oh,
into
wow.
going into college and, your high party years, not that I didn't have a few drinks or, you know, do stuff that I shouldn't or whatever. It was really helpful from a diet perspective, right? It's like I'm not going to go drink a 12 pack of beer tonight because I can't because I'll get fat. Like that's and I'll feel like crap for the next day's workout or whatever, and it slows your testosterone down and you don't muscle production. Like there's all these negative things. Like alcohol just isn't good for you, period. Like there's not really a healthy quantity of alcohol that's good for anyone. There's better quantities, reduced ones, but there's no level of alcohol that's good for you. Um, So that was a blessing. I did drink later in life too. I mean, I started abstaining 100% from alcohol about 6 years ago. So it hasn't been a lifelong thing for me, but yeah, I mean I don't know if that answers your entire question. The steroids thing is a real trap because bodybuilding and getting in ridiculously good shape, like, six pack, the whole thing, like it takes a lot of time and a lot of consistency, and that carrot of a shortcut to get there, and it really works. Like it really works well. Like that carrot and shortcut of getting there, it makes it so much easier and so much faster, and everybody wants that gratification now. And they don't want to put in the, months, years of effort stacked on top of each other to get to where they want to go. And so that's the biggest, I guess, trap with steroids and anabolics that I've seen being in the fitness industry is,
Yeah.
it's so much easier.
And did you see a lot of guys have very unfortunate side effects, whether it's crazy cystic acne or anger? I know there's a lot of guys talk about, you know who Dr. Mike Israetel is?
I don't.
He's, you've probably seen him online. He's like the fitness coach online. He always critiques other people's videos, stuff like that. I'll link him right here, Dr. Mike. Yeah, really out of pocket kind of dude, but I think he's pretty funny. And he talks about, he's very open about his steroid usage in the past, and I don't know if he still does it presently. I think he does. But he talks about the just insane rage that can come with excessive, I guess, yeah, overall steroid usage, especially with testosterone. So, yeah, curious your experience seeing some of those guys just
Yeah.
get
I mean,
crazy.
you're still
Crazy
in the
side effects.
gym. Even if you don't do it, you're still in the gym with guys, especially and competing too. I mean, you're in the same circles and stuff. You just get tested, and it's just not part of your profile. So, but I've seen guys throw weights in the gym. I've seen guys throw barbell through
Oh,
the
like
wall,
actually
like,
throw.
oh yeah, like that kind of stuff. And they're more aggressive towards their girlfriends or slamming car doors or road rage. And they do, acne's a problem. You get gynecomastia, which is bitch tits, Yeah, exactly. That's what they call it. I'm not making this up.
No, I've seen a lot of bodybuilders that are very open on social media. I shouldn't say almost all of them. A lot of them get the gyno surgery.
Yep, yep. And HGH, human growth hormone, if you go that route, which is kind of a different animal than just regular anabolic steroids, right? Or your TRTs. And that actually makes your organs grow as well. So you see those guys that are super jacked, but it's like they have a beer belly, but it's a six pack,
Mm.
right? It's like
Isn't that what Joe Rogan has? I
it's
believe I've heard him
because
talk about it. Am I
yeah,
crazy?
yes, yeah. Rogan's got a little bit of that going on. I hate to call Rogan out because I like Rogan, but
No, no. I
um,
mean, yeah, no, nothing against him. But I'm pretty
sure.
sure I've heard him talk about that's part of the reason why. Or maybe it was like another health YouTuber that was analyzing his body composition because he's obviously super fit, but he has a little bit of that,
Oh
right?
yeah, I
So
mean, anytime you look at like an Olympia competition or any of the IFBB pros that are like super high up ranked people, they all have it because they've all done it. They have to compete. I mean, because everybody else is on it. It's just the way that it goes.
yeah, some of those bodies are like I was watching a Ronnie Coleman video the other day, and I mean, my goodness gracious, talk about like Herculean, you know, just pin. It's funny, right? Because it's pinnacle humanity in a sense, but at the same time, it's like it's almost alien at that
Yeah.
point because maybe 0.01% of all humans ever could naturally attain a physique like that with the most perfect. Maybe 0% actually. I don't know. Maybe there was a dude like 5,000 years ago who could rock some crazy shoulders. I don't know. Maybe Noah. Hey, I don't know. If Noah's building an ark for like 40 years, I'm sure he got some good lats.
He's probably got some muscles. Yeah, he's eating enough protein. Yeah, I mean the Coleman thing kind of
Broa,
rubbed
more
me the
like it.
wrong way a little bit
Broa's
because
ark.
yeah, exactly. Ronnie Coleman of all the bodybuilders rubbed me the wrong way. I wish you wouldn't have called him out, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. He's a cop.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, dude, like you're getting into all kinds of hardcore illegal steroids. Like they
I guess
arrest
they are
people for selling
technically
steroids.
illegal.
Like they're highly illegal. Yeah, you can't get human growth hormone and all this. Now TRT, this is before TRT. Like TRT is exploded. The creams, the injectables, you go to the doctor, they give
You have
you,
to get it prescribed, don't you?
yeah,
TRT?
yeah, but it's so easy. There's so many like online websites you can just go to and they'll write you a script. It's like getting an
Sure.
Adderall. It's like probably even
Sure.
easier now. You got to do blood work and check on that stuff, which is better. Like at least they're going, like at least it's taking a legal, more medical route now where they're actually checking your liver enzymes and all the things that they need to make sure that you're not going over. They can reduce your dosages and they're monitoring it because before, if you're doing all the illegals and then you go to your doctor and you're like, I'm doing these illegal drugs, like people just weren't monitoring it the way that they are now.
Sure.
So, but
It's
TRT is like rampant across men. I mean, anybody can get it. I mean, even like Alex Hormozy's been on TRT since he was 25, and I don't know what his levels were before, but like to me, anybody who's in their 20s, who's a guy who's in the gym all the time, who's a bodybuilder, and they're on TRT, they're doing it because they want to be on TRT, not because they
right.
need to be on TRT. That's my take. Like I said, I don't know. I just called him out because he's a easy target, I guess.
He's got good arms. He's always just flexing his tank top. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean, if I was on steroids all the time and lifted weights every day, I'd have guns too. I mean, I still have
Yeah.
guns, but like,
Hey, there
you
you
know
go.
what I mean?
That's going to be the cover photo.
Don't do that.
Wait, do it again, and
That
I'll
was
make
that
a
was
face.
more for you. Are you ready?
No, no, do it
I'll
again. I'll
do
make
one
a face.
side
I'll
just
make a
for
face.
you.
Right there.
Thank
That's
you.
the cover.
Yeah, but I mean, shit, I'm 44 and I'm natural, so like whatever. Like, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No, well, you look great. You're lean. You're strong. You obviously have a lot of athleticism. I see you still go bow hunting. Like it's it's inspiring to a lot of people. I know to me even to think I'm 30 now, right? So to think my whole life, what does everyone always tell you? Your 20s are going to be your best, and then it's all downhill from there. So enjoy your life because everything's going to hurt. And sure, certain things get more difficult, or maybe you got to stretch a little bit more the older you get to make sure that you keep your mobility. But if you do those things, if you stay in shape, if you take care of yourself, you can be healthy, fit, and active into your 80s. Like, assuming, God forbid you had any other kind of issues going on. But,
Sure. Yeah, I'm
but
sure
yeah,
your activity, the things you can do go down and the way you do them go down too. But I mean, you can do a lot of stuff if you take care of yourself.
yeah. It's interesting too. A topic I always find fascinating because it's so gray is things like, well, let me word it like this. To get to the top of bodybuilding, if that's your dream and goal, you're going to have to take illegal substances, which means you're technically breaking the law, which means you're technically, according to some people's beliefs, you'd be doing something immoral, depending on if you view government laws as morality. Because, people are in prison today still for marijuana, and then people are selling it legally on the street right now, or not in the street, but in a storefront.
Sure.
So is that moral? Is it immoral? Is it? So anyways, that's a debate on its own. But I
Sure.
do find it interesting to think, like, if you want to get to the top of whatever industry, what illegalities or what gray areas do you have to peruse to get there? Because if you want to get to the top of bodybuilding, you essentially have to become a criminal, which is crazy to say, but it's kind of true, right? So,
No, that's exactly right. And I think that some sports are that way too that don't test. Like if you're a, jujitsu player, like, I like jujitsu. If, you know, those guys at the elite level, even Gordon Ryan, who skill level wise is probably better than anyone that's ever walked the face of the earth. And that's probably, there's hardly anybody who's going to be able to challenge that comment, which is he's that far ahead talent wise. But he juices and he's doing peptide injections and he's doing all that stuff. And he basically openly talks about it. He's like, hey, it's not illegal in jujitsu. It's like same with the IFBB for bodybuilding. It's like, it's just not, they don't test for it. It's common. It's accepted. Like, those guys, I don't know about the UFC, stuff like that. I
I think
don't,
they test more heavily,
I
I
think they
believe.
do too. I think you're supposed to test there.
Same
But
with
I,
WWE, I believe.
yeah. So anyway, there you have it. It's just there's certain places like that where it's just
Yeah.
it's known. Or like a lot of the Tour de France guys, the cyclists that were doing the blood doping or they're swapping out blood with more hemoglobin in it to the that kind of thing. Like everybody was doing it. It was just like a few select guys got caught. Or Major League Baseball, like Jose Canseco came out and like said that everybody was doing it, and like Barry Bonds, like, are we going to go put an asterisk next to everybody's home run records because they all do
Right.
it? Like, not all, but you know what I mean. It's rampant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, right? When you learn to play the game at a high level and there's certain things that become to the people on the lower rungs, let's say, it's black and white. You pay your taxes and you do this and you do that and you do this. And then when you start making millions of dollars, you pay your taxes where you need to, but then you write off things where you can. And even if it's not like business necessity. You write things off to your business, and you have your LLC, you have your personal thing. But you learn to play the game where it's not illegal, but to the lay person, it's like, that's no fair. That's a scam.
For sure.
It's like,
100%.
well, if you want to ever succeed at anything at a high level, you have to learn to game the system. And obviously, and I'm going to say this publicly and out loud, I'm not condoning any illegal or illicit behaviors, nor do I think being immoral to get ahead is right. Like, for instance, I think I could probably be on OnlyFans and post. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't be on OnlyFans. Even if I was a gorgeous girl, I know that I wouldn't want to sell myself and take the easy road, so to speak, to get ahead. I have my set of values and moralities that I'm not going to multiple moralities.
Morals.
I wouldn't do that personally.
Yeah.
So there are things I believe that are maybe black and white a little bit more than some people, but there is a level of gray that I think some people that become so dogmatic in any belief system, you lose out on the ability to connect and understand people when everything in life is black and white, because I believe 99% of things in this world are gray.
Yeah, I agree.
And then
100%.
there are the blacks and the whites.
Well, and it's
Not
also
racially.
just, it's how you grew up, what you believe, what your, experiences have been that lead you to, like, I just called out Ronnie Coleman for being a cop, like, for doing something illegal, right? I think that's a little different because you are enforcing laws, like, that's part of your job, like, but, it's not that I have a problem with steroids if you want to do that. Like, I don't even have a problem with a lot of drugs I don't do them and they're unhealthy. But if that's your choice and you don't hurt anybody else, like, that's your own risk. And so I'm also very pro, like, people living their own lives. And if it's not affecting anybody else but themselves in a negative way, then it's kind of a choose your own adventure, which is what makes life great, right? Like, I don't break a lot of laws, but speed limits aren't something that I obey.
Well, it depends where you are. I know I have here in Ontario where I live. It's essentially the unspoken rule. You can go 10 over. So if it's 50, you go 60 kilometers an hour. I know it's different with miles because 10 miles is more than 10 kilometers. So different parts of the U.S., I will not drive more than 5 over. But then I have a few friends who went to Alberta near Calgary, and even though we live in the same country and it's all kilometers, they got tickets for going 10 over because the cops there are significantly more strict on speed limits. So it's almost like, so that's what I'm saying. It's gray. Yeah. It's relative. Yeah, exactly. It's not black and white.
And that's not a moral issue to me, but for somebody who's been in a lot of car accidents or like had something weird happen, it's also like a skill set thing. It's like, okay, like I've been to motorcycle racing school a couple of times.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
Like MotoGP, like I know how to ride a motorcycle fast, safely, right? I mean, all things considered, there's all kinds of other variables. What's on the road, the debris, the weather, the other drivers, like all this stuff, right? But like, it's not uncommon for me to hit triple digits easy on a bike, like on a regular basis. I'll look down and I'll be like,
he's just joking. This is satire. It's not an admission.
Triple digits in kilometers. No. You know what I mean. Like, I'll look down and it's like, oh shit, I'm going 120. Like, yeah, exactly. It just happens, No,
I totally get it. Well, listen, man, I think we're pretty much up on like an hour already. We could talk for forever. So why don't we do this? We'll kind of wrap up this main chat right now, which I think feel like next time we could just have a whole different line of topic. Today was more health and fitness focus, which I love that because we're both into it.
Me too.
So we can kind of wrap up, I guess, the main chat, but I know you had some cool questions. So maybe we'll do like a speed round here at the end. We can keep it in the full episode and then we can clip it up. But if you want to, we can end off maybe 10, 15 minutes and just kind of
you want to fire some questions at you? Some controversial stuff? You want some controversial questions?
Let's go for it.
All right, we'll try to keep them short and then we can make them clips later.
That's what I mean. Yeah, let's
cool.
Maybe we'll both try to answer it in like a minute or less.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you first.
I know I have a tendency to tangent.
All right. Why are most people average, and is that okay?
Oof. I think we're created for greatness and conditioned for mediocrity. I think all of us, you believe in God, you don't believe in God. I genuinely believe that we are created and that we have this seed of greatness. But the world, the school system, if you want to get all conspiracy-ish on you, you could talk about the how the Rockefellers did this and that back in the 18 or 1700s or whatever. But anyways, the very simple explanation is I just think that average is praised, mediocrity and comfort are emphasized as pinnacle goals. Even if you look at what is all these millionaires do and what's the dream lifestyle on TikTok, it's like chilling out on a beach. But realistically, anyone who's been to Dominican for like more than 4 days knows that it gets kind of boring, honestly, just to chill on a beach for more than a few days. You want to be productive. We're geared towards working and doing something that helps people. And that's why for me, I don't even understand retirement. What does retirement mean? I always say I want to face God bloody, bruised, beaten, battered, and just tired, because I believe this world, this earth is a small blip in the, expanse of eternity, and my time here matters into what happens next. So let me make the most of it and have fun, but work hard and serve people. And I just think most people hear what I just said and they think, that's too much work. That sounds tiring. That sounds hard. Good. Like, that's what we're here for. I don't want to live a meaningless existence and serving nobody but myself and my own selfish desires. And some people will hear that and not agree. And that's okay. And I'll wrap up by saying this. I do believe it's okay. I'm not judging you for that. You live your life, but don't ever try to pull someone down who has a bigger dream than you. Don't be the crab in a bucket that pulls the other crabs down. If you're not a dreamer or you're lazy, good for you. But let other people do their thing. And if you don't have an encouraging word to say, just shut up and go watch your TLC show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who'd clip that to like the first 15 seconds. The first 15 seconds you came out strong on that. I like that one.
Okay,
whatever that was great. No, it was like, I don't know what you said, but it was perfect. You can run it back later.
Do you have thoughts on that question too, or is that one you don't really care?
You can ask me.
All right, okay. How did you ask it again? I'll rephrase it a little.
I said, why most people are average, and is that okay?
Okay. Let me think how to reframe this a little bit for you. So it's a little slightly different. Okay. Tyler.
Sure.
Why do you think most people choose to live an average life and not pursue a success journey or really follow the dreams that maybe are deep in their heart?
Well, I think it's discomfort and it's hard. I mean, a lot of people like to live in a comfortable space, and they know what they're getting, and they also like to relax, and it's just easy. They like to be entertained. For me personally, one of my biggest fears and probably the biggest driver for me in terms of ambition and personal development and business success and family success is not reaching my potential. I mean, I had an inflection moment that was not a deathbed moment, but it was kind of like, if I had a chance to look back on my life, I know what I'm capable of because I've had all of these thoughts about building businesses and these, and being fit and XYZ, like all these things that are possible that are possible because other people have done it. And I was like, I know I can do that. And so having that realization and then not chasing it, just it's like a permanent driver for me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't not get after it. I feel anxious if I'm not being productive in some matter.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting for some people too, maybe early in life, they never did sports. They never did anything competitive. They never won at anything. Maybe their family always was negative. And if you never, like when you experience a win, you're like, oh, that was cool. I want another one of those. And the more wins you experience and the more we typically, we don't know what we can have unless we know it's available. And if you think being an astronaut is for like, well, that's for white people. Like if you say stupid shit like that, then you'll never even take the steps towards being an astronaut. Or, oh, this is only for people who live in this country. So the more you realize, oh, I can really do whatever I want.
Yep.
Now, some people have higher IQs or some people have, so there are some things that require natural gifting, right? I'm never going to beat Usain Bolt. And I ran track, but I will be a flea compared to him. So,
I mean, the starting point's not fair, right? I mean, the cards you're dealt are not fair for everyone. I think that's also something that people get roped into mediocrity, is they say, oh, I had a harder starting point than XYZ, whether that's financially, whether that's race, whether it's gender, pick your poison of the victim mentality. It's like, you're right. Some places are harder to start from than others, but it doesn't matter. Like you're here now, like you have to make the most of what you've got. And if you really put effort into it, you're going to fucking win, period.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Okay, next question.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. I know you're
Actually, you know
short
what I
on
was just
time.
thinking?
We can make
Side
we
note,
can make them tighter too, like real short answers.
yeah, well, you know what I was thinking too is I'll post for anyone who's still listening. We're figuring this out in real time. I might cut this, but we can we can post the whole interview, and then we can post just this section as its own 15-minute clip,
Okay.
and then we can clip each individual question.
Perfect.
So it's like, you know, it could be like quick round with Tyler Pierce, like, you know what I mean? It could be like, you know, something like that.
I like it. We
That
can
could be
do
fun.
it. Yeah. Let's do. We can do them super fast. We can do like five more. We can do like 30-second answers.
Okay, I love it. Yeah,
All right. Let's see. What's a good one here? Is building a personal brand just bragging?
yeah. I think there's a level of self-indulgence when you're when you're boasting about. No, I wouldn't say you're. I wouldn't say it's bragging. I wouldn't say it's about boasting. I would say it's about public authority and credibility. Whether you like it or not, the first thing people are going to do. Tyler Pierce. Let me just Joshua. Let me just. It is what it is. We live in a day and age where people are going to Google you. So when you show up authoritatively, when you seem like you're trustworthy, when your content and everything that's Googleable about you is accurate to who you are and your personality and character, it lends to deeper conversations that inevitably start with more trust. So,
Yep. I agree.
actually, whatever. Let me ask you the next question first, because that's more like a branding question. So I don't know if you want to answer it as well.
Go ahead.
Okay, we'll just do every question back and forth then. Okay, cool. But let me try to put a spin on all of them for you.
Okay.
Okay, Tyler, as a fairly new founder now with your company, Panglosian, you're focusing on a lot of personal branding and developing yourself as an entrepreneur while also building your company. How do you navigate boasting about yourself or kind of making it feel like it's all about you while trying to maintain that professional personal brand?
Sure. I mean, I think for some people it is bragging, right? I think for in some ways, I think for what I'm trying to accomplish, and I think for a lot of what other people are trying to accomplish from a networking standpoint or a building trust standpoint, it's people want to know who's behind the brand and why, and the story and the meaning, and that there's validity there, and if they can be trusted. And I think that having a well-established personal brand is validating and galvanizing.
Ooh, galvanizing. I think that's a Daft Punk album. Cool. So
I wouldn't know.
on to the next.
Good
Miss Daft
question.
Punk.
All right, let me see what we got. I'm not gonna ask that. Are most people too sensitive now?
Yes. Next question.
I agree. Next question. That was fast. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to
Actually,
beat it. Yeah. Yes.
you know what's funny?
Uh,
That's it. That's going to be my answer, but I'll ask you the same question. And
okay.
if you want to give a more detailed
All
answer.
right. Yeah, I'll try.
Okay, Tyler,
Yes.
we live in this crazy world. Do you think most people are too sensitive in general? And where do you think it gets in the way the most in people's everyday lives?
I think absolutely people are too sensitive now. I think that they don't have thick skin. I think that words hurt people too much, and um, I think that everybody should be respected um, based on how they were born. Your gender, your race, there's all these things that people want to pick up and take out. But I think that having a victim mentality and taking things way too personally when you could just move on and be positive, it just catches people. It's a waste of time. People just need to toughen up.
Yeah. So should I respect your pronouns?
I don't have pronouns. My name's Tyler.
You identify as badass.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you, sir.
We can actually combine those both answers into one clip. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
let's do that.
I like all this side talk. I'm just making more work for myself to edit this out.
That's okay. You might catch something in there that goes good at the end that you like throw in.
No, I know. Honestly, it might even just leave it in the whole thing. It's funny. It's funny back and forth. Okay, next question.
Are ambitious women women? Let me start over. Take
Hold
two.
on, I'll turn around.
Yeah, you ready? Here's your question. Are ambitious women intimidating to men?
Ooh, yes, 100%. However, this is interesting. So I have a friend. I'm not gonna say her name, but she is mega ambitious, very successful, done a lot in her life. Long story short, ended up with a guy fairly recently, and it was a phase. She was exploring some things, and hoping she saw potential in this guy, and she was hoping his inner man, I guess, would come out by being around her. But it turned out that he was actually such a drain on her and really sucked out a lot of her ambition. And ultimately, I think he admitted as well that she was kind of intimidating. And we're talking about like a very unambitious, very, I was going to say flatulent man. That's the wrong word. A very flat dude. And so for a guy like him, a woman who is successful, wealthy, sure, can be intimidating, can be out of the range of possibilities. For guys like you and me, though, I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, I actually want a woman who is very capable, who is a high performer. She doesn't have to be in business necessarily, but I want a co-pilot, not a anchor. And this is one of the things I realized years ago when I actually was going to propose to somebody, had the ring, asked her dad permission. I went the whole
kilometer here in Canada.
Whole kilometer. Yeah. And it just came down to, and God bless her, amazing girl. I loved her. I hope she's doing well. She was going to be an amazing wife to somebody, but I was changing from military to entrepreneur. My desires, my dreams, my goals, everything was changing. And I realized that she was going to be an incredible anchor of a wife, not a great co-pilot. And even though I don't necessarily need someone to build my business with me, someone who's capable enough to take the reins if I need them to me is extremely attractive, because I can't always be performing at 100%. And it'd be nice to have someone who could help.
Sure.
That was a long answer.
It's all right. It's your show. Okay. You can do what you want.
Back to you. Tyler, do you find a woman who is a high performer, ambitious, possibly even already successful in her own right, is that intimidating to you and to high performing men, or is it more attractive?
It's not intimidating to me. I think it's intimidating to a lot of men, especially ones who aren't high performing or who aren't successful. Just traditional gender roles and that pressure from society. I think that's probably intimidating for a lot of men. For me, I like that perspective, with the caveat of some really successful women, and I'm not calling out all women on this because that's not what I mean. Some really successful women, that's their identity, is like the boss bitch kind of, and they have an attitude about it, and they have an attitude towards men about it in a really emasculating kind of way, and I don't care for that. But I really do like successful women, ambitious women, intelligent women who are driven, and I think for a lot of different reasons, but I think it's easier to relate to them because I'm the same way, and it's also easier for them to understand and accept the way that you are. If you're short on time, if you can't always return a text or a call or the attention, and not that they don't deserve all of that, it's just sometimes time is short or you're traveling or something of that nature, I think it's a lot easier for them to be understanding and relate because they're in the same position.
We're on the same page. That boss babe kind of crazy masculine energy, very unattractive, I think, to most men, unless you're like a super beta and you want that. But that's the problem. I think a lot of those women, unfortunately, attract a lot of beta men, because really true alpha men, and I'm not talking about like big muscle alpha men. I'm just talking about like men who are high performers and high value kind of guys. They don't want to be in competition with the love of their life. They want to be in cooperation. Clip that.
I will say it's hard for me to step down from the lead, though, especially in the family dynamic, like especially at home. Like I'm just traditional and conservative, provider, protector, like that kind of a thing. Like especially with little kids around and that kind of thing. Like, not that I'm going to make all the decisions without consulting, especially big decisions, financial decisions, like stuff like that. But like, I'm in a leadership position, and that usually needs to stay that way at home for me to feel good.
Yeah, I agree. I think men and women are created equal in value, different in role, right? We have our strengths, and when we try to move outside of our God-given kind of roles, I guess, that's when things get real wild, right? When women act like men and men act like women, and it starts to break down very fast.
I agree.
Anyways.
Nice.
You got one or two more?
Yeah, let's do one or two more.
Okay.
Ooh, here's a good one for you. Why networking is overrated, or is it everything?
It can be both. I think it depends how you approach it. I've seen people who go to every single local networking event imaginable, and they haven't progressed at all because they're focusing all their time not on building skill sets or on having a real offer, but just on meeting people. And you can meet people all you want. There was actually a phase a handful of months ago. I stopped networking altogether because I was reestablishing what my offer was. Because I'm like, if I meet all these people, I don't have anything to offer them. And if I meet people who can offer me something, I don't know what I'm looking for. So there was actually a moment there for a month or so where I stopped, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to add appropriate value. And if you're looking for value, you have to know what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're just wasting breath and wasting everyone's time.
Nice. That's a very self-aware assessment. I like that.
Yeah.
I do. Good.
Okay. I'm trying to think of, I like the question the way it is. I'll ask it the same way. Okay, Tyler, do you find in your experience, whether it's in corporate, it's in your own independent ventures, is networking overrated, underrated, necessary, a waste of time? What do you think?
I think in the right context, it's necessary and very beneficial, especially if you're just starting out, you're trying to, build a business or build your personal brand or both. You've got to know people, you've got to meet new people. That's how new doors open, new opportunities open. And, for me, I'm big on personal development and kind of, laddering up my skill set and all of that. And I think you have to put yourself in those positions to meet people who are ahead of where you're going, right? And it's hard to do that if you're not out and about in networking, looking for people.
Yeah.
Strategic alignments, mentors, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I always tell people you need to stop looking for the right opportunity and start looking for the right people and relationships who are where you want to be. Because if you want to live, everyone always chooses what they want to do because that's what we're told our whole lives, right? What do you want to do, little Jimmy? What do you want to do, little Tyler? It's like, man, I don't know. I want to skateboard and play Call of Duty. What are you talking about? I'm 16. What the heck, right? So rather asking, even if you asked me 2 years ago, frankly, my dreams were different. They've evolved. They've changed. So asking the what question I find is very emotional and short term. Asking the how question. How do you want to live and why? Right? What is the lifestyle you ultimately want? That for me has remained relatively consistent. If anything, it's grown, but it's never shrank. So I always ask people, how do you want to live? Well, I want to be free and I want to travel and I want to. So do you know any nurses who live that life? Well, no. But they always have a but why somehow they're going to be the unique one that works at the ER and somehow they're going to be free and travel to Maui every weekend. No, you're not. Right? Whatever you choose, the what you choose comes with a designated lifestyle, income, and game plan for how you're allowed to live.
Yep.
So that's why I tell people, choose how you want to live, find people who live that way, reverse engineer, get them to mentor you, and just do what it takes. Yeah, but I don't want to be in textiles. I don't care. You said you want to live a certain life, and this guy in textiles lives your life. So
talk to him and see if it's something for you.
Yeah. So you have to ask yourself, what's more important to you? The ultimate lifestyle or the work you do daily? Yeah. And doing something as monotonous as textiles, like if you only have to work 5 hours a day, let's say 5 days a week to live an incredible life, what wouldn't you do for 5 hours a day? I'd go chop trees. I don't want to chop trees, but I'd do it for 5 hours. If you told me I could make $500,000 a year.
Sure. Call me the janitor and pay me millions. I'm fine with that.
That's what I'm saying, right? And that's why I always, okay, actually, I'll add this one quick thing. Because I always used to ask people this in that education process I would take them through, that recruiting process. I would always say, actually, I'll ask it to you. I'll pretend we're talking like you're in my process. Okay, so Tyler, if I told you right now, what's a big telecom company near you? Like a phone company? Like Fido or something? Verizon. So if I told you right now, based on how you are currently, the amount of money you make, your status in life, go door to door in your community for the next 8 hours, or we could start tomorrow morning, 8 hours, start 7 a.m. And I will not guarantee you any income. It's all commission. But the maximum you could make if you do really well is $200. Is it worth it to you? But Tyler, I'm saying you could make a certain amount. Okay, obviously, yeah, nobody would take that, right? But what if I told you for the exact same job description, you don't even have to make a sale, but I'm going to guarantee you $2,000 for the same 8 hours?
Probably.
Yeah, and you're a guy that does pretty well, and $2,000. I don't care if you're making 100,000, A million. Who wouldn't? It's a opportunity to get in the sun, get a tan, talk to
Right.
some people,
If
and
you're
make
making
two
a
grand.
million, it doesn't make sense, but yeah.
I suppose it depends. Yeah, yeah. So the point, but that's the point. The
Yeah, yeah,
point is there's a level where the work you don't want to do becomes desirable when the reward for it
100%.
equals the,
100%.
the discomfort. So when people tell me, well, I don't want to do that kind of work. Well, I don't think you understand. I don't think you've associated the reward level yet with that. And to be fair, sometimes the reward isn't there. That's fair. That's totally
Sure,
fair.
sure.
But when the reward is there, it's the rewiring of understanding even the discomfort or the uncomfortable work can become appealing when the reward is greater. Even if you look in the Bible, King Saul, this is a very brief little Bible story here for you. If you don't know this, King Saul, who essentially, this is a guy David, he was anointed him to become the next king of Israel. And Saul essentially was jealous and went crazy and was possessed by a demon and literally wanted to kill David. So they go on this back and forth mouse chase all across a few different books of the Bible, 1st and 2nd Samuel, and then some. But it comes to the point where David says, I want to marry your daughter. And Saul actually agrees for the tune, I might be messing up the number, of 100 Philistine foreskins. So my guy's got to go out there and kill over 100 Philistines, which were a rivaling tribe. And he not only had to kill them and take, a lock of their hair or something, foreskins.
Yeah,
Clearly she was worth it because David came back with double. I believe it was 200 he brought Saul. So you're talking about undesirable work.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you though. I think it's to bring it back, I think it's two things. I think it's not just how undesirable the work is, but I really believe it's the comforts and I'm going to just call it this, the bullshit that people have to give up and sacrifice in order to get there too. It's not just, hey, do I want to perform XYZ tasks? It's what do I have to give up to get there? Like, I don't watch TV. Like, I haven't turned on a TV show in years. Like, that kind of a thing. Like, do you want to do that? Like, do I have to give up the ice cream and the French fries and the XYZ if I want to get fit? Like, it's the same thing for achieving your goals in business. You got to give up a lot of the niceties and the comforts and stuff like that to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, unfortunately, I don't have a six-pack because I like Taco Bell too much. So it's... I
didn't mean to call you out personally, but...
I see what you're trying to do, Tyler. I'm just
last one I got for you.
Okay.
Since we were talking about this transition as well, can money really buy happiness?
That's a good one. I would say nothing can purchase or buy your happiness, but money can create opportunities. And what ultimately do people say makes them happy? Time with my family, time doing things I love with people I love is really what it comes down to for the most part. You can get into different kinds of religious happiness, I suppose. You could talk about having joy in your heart because but I'm talking about just most people. Most people say happiness is intimate time with people they love intimately. So what does more money grant you? The ability to literally buy back your time. If I could hire somebody to cook my food, if I could hire someone to mow my lawn, if I could hire somebody to be my assistant, if I could hire somebody to, guess what? Now I have more of time to do with what I want. So can anything directly buy happiness? No, a jet ski can't buy happiness, although that's debatable. I was on one this weekend. It was pretty cool. But money buys resources and opportunities that you can then use to do things that will bring you joy and happiness.
Got it. I like it.
Back to you, Tyler. Everything you've experienced in your life, from your children to marriage to business to cool, famous connections, have you discovered that money is the ultimate key to happiness, or is it deeper?
Anybody who says money can't buy happiness doesn't fucking have any. That's a Ben Affleck quote from the movie Boiler Room for everybody who's out there, just so you know. Man, I think that to a certain degree, it solves a lot of problems, especially when you're talking about the lower levels, right? Like if you're talking about like poverty to like middle class to like upper middle class, I think incrementally, if you're talking about being on the bottom, getting up a little bit, it really does. Because it just solves some problems that makes your life more comfortable, you're less stressed. It's not just opportunities or fun stuff, it's the basics, right? Like your good quality food, shelter, where you live, education for your kids, like that kind of stuff. I think that really does buy peace of mind. And I don't know if peace of mind is necessarily the equivalent of happiness, but for some people it can be. At least it lets you be happier in the moment, I would say. Um, so other than that, I think the more money you make, the more you realize that the material stuff isn't as important as the personal relationships and experiences. And like you said earlier, buying time back. I think not having to work in a job that you hate all of the time because you have financial freedom that'll make a lot of people happy. Um, you know what I mean? Those types of things, or being able to experience different things that people who don't have the capabilities of doing that can. And that's not material stuff. It's not like, whatever, like, hey, you got a fancy watch, or you drive a Ferrari or whatever. Like those things are fun, but it's not true contentment and happiness in that sense.
Yeah. I've never in my life understood people that say, I don't know what I would do with $1 million. I think we have enough. You don't have anyone else you care about besides you? How selfish are you? Like, no, we don't need any more. Or I guess technically you don't need any more, but why wouldn't you want more? There's nobody in your
Sure.
family who could use a few bucks. There's nobody at your church who could, receive. My church needs new toilets. So if I had $1 million right now, I'd give them $2,000 or however much they need for some toilets. You're telling me you don't know what to do with your money? I think we might have mentioned this last time. I could probably drop for sure. I could drop $1 million in a couple days. I already know what I would spend it on.
100%.
And that's for most people $1 million. What are you talking about? Buy a house. There you go. You're done.
Yeah.
You're
Even
over a
half
million.
the house depends where you live.
But even if you got a $400,000 house, okay, then you get your parents a new car. Then you help out your church a little bit. You put some money in an investment. You pay off your debt. You buy yourself a new car if you got an old beater. A couple little things, and boom, you're at $1 million. So when people win the lottery, I'm like, that's awesome. I hope they're a little bit wise with their money, because that's
Yeah.
going to be gone in a few days.
Well,
I think it's
100,
75 to 80%
100%,
of lottery winners go broke or like kill themselves in the first few years.
which is crazy to me. I mean, you know, I'll leave my finances out of it, but like if someone's going to give me $1 million, I would take it and I'd make it $10 million in 5 years. And then how many more people can you help? I mean, I wouldn't even dole it out, or how do I spend it, or whatever. Like that's the mentality I think a lot of people have. And not that I'm not calling you out on this. I think that
No. I'm just saying in a
no,
hypothetical.
exactly. And
I could
that's
spend it easily. Never mind.
yeah. I mean,
Never
if
mind
if
investing.
somebody said spend $1 million today, I could do it in 15 minutes. If you're really going to, if you're really going to think it through, it's like, okay, I could take that $1 million and even conservatively invest it if I don't have the education or the wherewithal of how to double it up, or how to earn high percentage income or whatever off of that money, lever it into more. I mean, you could take that and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. But in 5 years, I can help 100 people instead of one person today, or whatever it might be, because I mean, that's what I would do with it. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
that's
people
what I
don't
am doing
realize
with my
too.
finances. It just takes time.
Yeah. And people don't realize, like, if you had, let's say you worked your absolute tail off, you lived very minimally, you did some investing, worked, you had your own business. If you had $10 million that you could put in your bank and you just let that sit, you never did anything else, at like a 6% return, which I'm sure people that are making good money probably get more returns than 6%, but just very, very conservative basic savings account. That's $600,000 a year in earned. I guess not. What's the word? It wouldn't be earned income. What's the?
Passive income.
Yeah, it'd be. Who couldn't live off of 600 grand if you
Right.
put just 10
You're
million just to
talking
sit and do nothing?
you're talking ballpark 400 grand a year after taxes, depending on where you live and what your tax sheltering plan looks like, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you're talking about 30 grand a month take home.
Yeah.
You can do
So I always
you
like the
can do
idea of.
almost anything you want experience wise with 30 grand a month, especially if you have homes that are paid for and stuff like that. I mean, you can travel where you want, eat what you want, drive what you want. I mean, within reason, right? Like you can't go buy six lands, but like, no, but you could drive a Benz and go to Fiji for a week once a month and like all that stuff and be fine, and eat out to dinner everywhere you want to go. Like whatever. I think you could live a glorious life for 30 grand a month.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget who it was. I mean, it's a lot of people, but a lot of entrepreneurs talk about I think Hermosi talks about this too. Instead of trying to save the few pennies that you make for the average person, invest in yourself and your ability to create more cash flow. Because the
100%.
higher skill sets you have that allow you to produce larger quantities of income faster, then you can start saving and then you can start investing. But if you're only putting away $100 a month, I mean, okay, come on. Like you're maybe you're gonna have a few thousand when you're 75. Big whoop, right? If it's worth that much by then.
He's right.
So
I agree with him. 100%.
yeah. Well, cool, man. We're at what are we at? We're at a
way
minute
too
12
long.
or an hour 12, which actually is not as bad as I thought. I thought we were at like an hour 30 at least. But we'll clip some stuff. We'll make some good content. I appreciate the conversation, dude. I feel like you and I we're gonna start having our own mini side podcast at this point, which fine with me.
I think it's going to go well. I think you can clip it. I think you can reuse a bunch of stuff, recycle stuff.
Yeah. So here, we'll wrap it up officially, and then you can tell me all the terrible things you do illegally on the side. No, I'm kidding. But thank you, man. I appreciate the time. It's always a pleasure talking, and I'm sure we'll have another episode out soon. So
Thanks, you too, Josh. Appreciate your time.
yeah, man.
The air handshake.